Hello everyone, welcome back again. So following on from our last video on the Super Cheap Auto Ellery Falcon, we've had a lot of people contact us wanting us to do a similar video on FTR3, the Seton Crompton Falcon, and just to explain how we ended up with the car and I guess what our plans are with it for the future. So I thought I'll put together this video now for you and I hope you enjoy. So the story of how we ended up with FTR3 is very different to how we ended up with the Super Cheap Auto Falcon. Many years ago, dating back probably 5 or 6 years, we did actually make an inquiry to purchase FTR3. It was advertised with a couple of other supercars which did sell, and FTR3 remained unsold. FTR3 was known as a little bit of a problem child in the sense that it was converted to a BA after it raced as an AU, and the conversion was done to the point that it was used as a ride car and the rear half of the cage was modified. Once we got the restoration underway on the Ellery Falcon, we started to talk with the previous owner of FTR3 again, who was watching the progress, knowing that what we did to the Super Cheap Auto Falcon would need to be done to FTR3 if the restoration was going to take place. We kept in touch with the owner over many years and were able to negotiate a deal some time ago to purchase FTR3 with the viewpoint of restoring it back to an AU Falcon. So once we had an understanding and an agreement in place to purchase FTR3, we had to look into the car and see exactly what FTR3 was. All we knew is it raced to Pro Drive, it raced for Ford Tickford Racing, Glenn Seton drove it. We really didn't know the details. So luckily, we were able to get hold of the original logbook and go through the history of the car accurately and understand exactly what we were looking to purchase. The logbook showed that FTR3 is the most capped chassis out of all the FTR chassis. So it ran from 2000, 2001, 2002 and 2003, all with main game starts in those years. So historically, the car has a lot of significance. The car was built brand new for a tilt at the 2000 FAI Bathurst 1000, which was exciting because there was a lot of media coverage at the event, and also being a factory Ford, it was used for promotional activities like Inside Line with Neil Crompton driving around the track with Mark Larkham and John Bowe, doing a hot lap of Bathurst, showing the viewers what's ahead.
Well, here we are on the famous pit straight at Mount Panorama, leading off into turn number 1. Now we've got some pretty diabolical conditions here today, a slightly damp track, and I've got the enviable position of having these two lunatics behind me. Let's tell you a bit about this place. Normally on the mountain straight, second gear, third, fourth, and all the way up to fifth as we come across the crest where the car gets to about 250 kilometres an hour and it will jump sideways. Then it's very hard on the brakes. Back to third gear. A bit of positive camber for turn 2, and then as you can see the camber begins to change on exit. Jump up over the ripple strip, the car will slide, but it's a bit damp there, up to fourth gear, then to the cutting. Fourth gear on the approach, back to second. A blind corner down to about 60 on A, some of them we don't. It can be totally unpredictable. The weather, as we've seen throughout the course of the week, can be very weird.
FTR3 had a strong run that weekend and managed to qualify inside the top 10. For a very wet race, anything was possible. Now during the race, it gave Glenn Seton and Neil Crompton one of their best opportunities to win Bathurst, and unfortunately, due to a fairly famous incident, that was taken away from them late in the race.
The Shell Championship Series at stake for him, and maybe if he can claw his way further forward, a Bathurst victory as well.
This is a shot from Neil Crompton's car, looking back at Scape, headlights on, trying to find a way past the FTR Falcon. Cameron McLean still our race leader, 1.2 seconds in front of Jim Richards. Stephen Richards, I should say, in the Kmart Commodore. John Bowe in the Caterpillar Ford, threading through the traffic. Oh, Crompton gets squeezed on the curb as he tries to find a way inside the big cab Commodore. He's managed to do it, I think, without any damage, but Scape goes with him. Crompton like a barge pole through the traffic. Look at Neil, he's finding back on the inside. I don't believe it. Oh, can you believe it? Oh no, Mark Scape managed to hang on to it. Neil Crompton's gone.
Is the car right?
The whole front of the car has been taken off. Can you believe that? Oh, we've got a tyre rubbing here on the whole of Racing Team Commodore. Can you believe this? Drama. Now that may not be too bad for the factory. 18th position, some 3 laps behind the race leaders. And look at this, it's crazy stuff. What on earth was he thinking?
left-hander. He too copped a little bit of contact there as Mark Scaife tried to take evasive action, and Neil Crompton is actually now parked on the side of the circuit there.
I just cannot believe the bad luck this Neil Crompton has in motorsport. Can you believe it? Look at this Matt Neal. I cannot believe, what was he doing?
Oh, this is the sort of thing that can decide championships. That could have been the end of the day for both Mark.
Back in 2000, the Bathurst was the final round of the year. So FTR3 did some promotional activity for Ford, being a factory Ford at the time, and then it was returned to Ford Tickford Racing Workshop, where it was rebuilt for the 2001 season to be driven by Glenn Seton throughout the year. FTR3 ran very competitively throughout 2001 with Glenn Seton behind the wheel. With some changes made to the team, the car was used all the way up to the Enduros, and it was actually run at the Queensland 500, which introduced Steve Richards to FTR3, who hadn't driven this chassis prior to that date. At the Queensland 500, the car was running extremely strongly, but unfortunately early in the race developed an engine issue and was finished off, ironically, by the Big Kev Commodore once
again. The last 2 or 3 laps, he's just on a 14.2. Everyone behind him's going quicker, and you can see the car starting to queue up behind him. It's between the Shell Ford and the Holden Racing Team Commodore as this absorbing battle continues for 4th place. John Bowe in 4th. He's got Stephen Richards, Todd Kelly, Greg Ritter, Paul Morris, Larry Perkins all queued up behind him.
Well, John Bowe's really starting to feel the pressure. Here comes Stephen Richards. You ride with him now. The inside look into turn 3. It's going to be tight, not enough. Contact there. A little nudge, a little bit of a love tap. Pushes him wide and more contact. Smashes the mirror on the side there as they run side by side. And that is not quite smashed the mirror off, just bent it in as they head into turn 4. Bowe has track position for there. Now don't do a Mark Larkham here, Stephen. Hang on to it, because this is where Mark pushed a little too hard by his own admission. Went on the inside there when he collided with Larry Perkins. That's why he's in pit lane now.
Boy, Steve came from a long way back there.
He's going to have another go too.
Oh, yeah.
Into turn 6. So, can't keep a good man down. He just built up another head of steam, had another go at the Cat Ford into turn 6. So, Richards, great drive.
Yeah, so true.
Well, is there problems here for Stephen Richards? Yes, there is.
Is that car 5?
We're here, ready.
Oh, problems here. He's just been passed by Greg Ritter.
Oh, Paul Morris.
Didn't have enough problems. He's just got a big hit in the rear from the Big Kev racer. So Stephen Richards was slowing down, no doubt about it. Ritter had got past him. So now he's got to try and head into the pits with the Gran Turismo 3 camera on board. Well, are we going to see...
What just happened there, mate?
Are we going to see another rash?
Outside the track, like the outside, ran into the back of me.
Maybe.
Okay, there's no damage at all. Please have a look at the right rear.
Yeah, they will have to have a very close look.
By the time Bathurst came around, FTR3 was parked for the 1000. FTR4 became available, so it was entered as Glenn Seton and Stephen Richards' car 5. After Bathurst, Stephen Richards stayed in FTR4, and FTR3 was rolled back out to go over to New Zealand, Sandown, and finish the year off. As you can see, it was a really tough end for FTR3 at the end of the 2001 V8 Supercar Championship. Some of these battle scars are still evident on the car today.
There was a major break.
The opening lap of 36, and look at Glenn Seton's FTR Ford.
Yeah, innocent victim in that. It all happened so quickly. Keep in mind they're closing from enormous speed to a very low speed at the end of that straight.
Ori and the boys are down here at the moment. Look at the damage to the front of the FTR Ford. They've ripped the bumper off it, and as you can see, a lot of damage from that collision for Glenn Seton. He's going to lose a lot of time in pit lane here. As Greg Murphy returns to the front straight, he's already a lap down.
Welcome back to Sandown, the V8 Ultimate. The action continues. Glenn Seton very fortunate not to roll the Ford Tickford AU as it comes to rest in the turn 1 sand trap. Quite a treacherous turn that one, the view from overhead.
By the start of 2002, Ford had redistributed a lot of their sponsorship dollars, gravitating more toward Craig Lowndes and the Green-Eyed Monster. Therefore, Glenn Seton had to downsize back to one car, release Stephen Richards from his contract, and then run purely as a one-car operation. FTR4 was the newer chassis in the stable. Therefore, post-2001, FTR3 wasn't planned to see a lot of racing life. Unfortunately, instances in 2002 saw FTR3 press back into service, and also again in 2003, seeing it cover a lot of years in the main game V8 Supercar. In addition to all this, FTR3 holds a piece of history in racing and V8 racing that'll never be repeated. Thanks again for your interest and support on both the Super Cheap Auto Falcon and the Ford Tickford Racing Falcon. And if there's any information you'd like to know or anything in particular you'd like to see, please feel free to let us know on either the Facebook page or in the comments section on YouTube, and we'll bring that content to you as soon as we can. We're currently working on part 2, which covers a lot more of FTR3's history, and will also provide an update as to where the car is at the restoration side of things, which we look forward to sharing with you as FTR3 goes back together some 25 years on from its first race. Thanks again for your support. We look forward to sharing more with you soon. Part 2 is coming up.